almost 780 billion.
I'm telling you, it's there in infrastructure.
Where is the infrastructure?
Global economic crisis.
Where is the infrastructure? Where is the infrastructure? We can see them. So where is NDC? Where is Medina NDC's portion of the infrastructure? Where is it? It's zero. You recall that I had to even lead demonstration for roads, just roads, and that road that was awarded way back in 2019, even before 2020, and at the time, Honorable Boniface was the one who was the MP for the area when he was awarded about $11.1 million, 11.1 million cedis road contract. As of today,
that road has not.
When you go to from Otinidi all the way to Immense, and that
we cross check because we got a new team to check.
Yes, that road has not been constructed. And today, the MP's common fund, which was used to purchase some of these drip machines, you are going to see their candidate has put their pictures on it, packed the machines in front of his shop.
Is that what is happening?
And oh yes, right now, and in front of his own shop. And
but that is for the constituency. It's not like for the party because it's a national asset.
That is how abusive this government can be.
Well, away from that, the European Union in Ghana, along with French and Dutch embassies, have called on journalists and social media users to embrace fact-checking and news verification ahead of the upcoming general elections. Now, speaking during the launch of a campaign against disinformation in Accra, the EU ambassador highlighted that disinformation is a threat to Ghana's democracy. Take a listen to him.
This year, 2024, is very special. There are 83 elections in 78 countries in the world. We have a common interest in safeguarding democracy. Ghana is an esteemed and respected democracy seen in Africa and the rest of the world. And this is a capital. We want to engage with the Ghanaian people to nurture and to safeguard, because if we are here today, it's because disinformation is for real. We are maybe here to engage in a longer term on that, because disinformation will not stop after the election, unfortunately. So our ambition is to work together with the influencers, with the celebrities, with the journalists to check the fact. Don't get it twisted before it goes out.
Well, the Eastern Regional Secretariat of the New Patriotic Party, in collaboration with the Member of Parliament for the Asene Akroso Manso constituency, GHOne Abuaje, have compensated victims of a tragic accident that occurred 12 years ago during a campaign rally at Achim Esubwa. The accident, which happened in 2012, claimed the lives of 3 people and left 13 others severely injured when a vehicle lost control and rammed into a crowd. However, the victims and their families never received any compensation, created serious anger. As part of effort to support the victims and their families, the incumbent MP and the NPP Eastern Regional Leadership have presented a cash compensation of 5,000 each to the 13 accident victims and 10,000 each to the families of the deceased chief. The beneficiaries expressed appreciation to the party for the compensation. Take a listen. Well, to other stories, teachers and students numbering over 500 at Galilea MAGHS in the Gas South municipality are now stranded as a contractor locks up classrooms over non-payment of debt. According to sources, GHOne's Anointing Construction Limited awarded a contract to get funds to build 6-unit classroom blocks in 2017 at Galilea Basic School, but since the project completion, no payment had been made. The facility, which was closed until payment was allegedly broken into by the Gas South municipal executive, who began using the facility without the contractor's consent. Earlier this morning, the contractor stormed the school to sack teachers and pupils present and locked up the facility. Definitely bring you up to speed on that particular story, but let's move away from that. The Ghana Police Service has placed Detective Corporal Baba Ibraim, stationed at the Tuna Police Station in the Savannah region, under immediate interdiction following allegations of professional misconduct. The decision to interdict the officer comes after a viral video showing Corporal Ibraim assaulting a member of the public. The video has raised serious concerns about officers' conduct and prompted swift action from the police service. Well, in response, the police service has stated that the interdiction is necessary to allow for a full and impartial investigations into the incident in accordance with police service regulations. The investigation will determine the appropriate course of action based on the findings. The Inspector General of Police has expressed concern over the incident and personally contacted the victim's family to offer support. Furthermore, the IGP has instructed the Savannah Regional Police Commander to work closely with the victim's family to ensure that the issue is resolved in a fair and just manner. Well, let's stay a little longer on this particular matter, and Adib Sani has joined me on phone to help us understand what this means and what are the implications. Adib, many thanks for joining us on Newsroom this morning. This is not the first time a police officer has been interdicted for issues of assault and misconduct. These incidents keep happening. What does this say to the quality of training and discipline in our police service? Sani, the security analyst, we're trying to get him to help us understand the implications of issues of assault from the police service. Well, Adib, I understand we have you now. Many thanks for joining us on Newsroom.
Yes, ma'am.
We understand, this is not the first time. I mean, issues of police brutality, this is not the first time the police officer has been interdicted for issues of assault and misconduct. Well, these things keep on happening. What does this say to the type or the quality of training and discipline in our police service?
Well, I think it's quite unfortunate that to have the regime beyond part of our response. Officers are also
Hello, Adib, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, the police cannot succeed without civilians helping them. So there is a need, based on the 9 billion principles of modern day policing by Robert Peel, for the police to be able to harness their relationship with the communities in which they operate based on mutual trust and respect. But you see, when videos of this nature come into the public domain, it doesn't just drag the name or reputation of the police into disrepute, but also creates a we against them kind of situation between the civilians on one hand and the police on the other hand. And that becomes a very dangerous situation. The problem is, in the past, officers have engaged in similar acts and have been left off the hook. And so a lot of them erroneously have that sense of invincibility or that sense of feeling that the uniform grants them some level of immunity. And so they can go about misbehaving. Just picture the case of this irresponsible soldier who went to talk about beating people like we are in a jungle. And that is a problem. We pass across the political divide. So if you ask me, I think this officer should be dealt with grossly and grossly to serve as a terrorist blood which the NDC has taken, contacting the family.
Okay, we're struggling to clearly hear Adib there, but we're trying to work the lines and we'll get back to him. But let's go on social media and hear what you've been saying, because this video has gone viral and a lot of you have been commenting on the matter. And this one is from Amantama. He says that tuna police barrier self is something else. There is no police lady at this same barrier. I'm sure he will be the one behind this, because she will come and talk to you anyhow, but when you talk back, then her reinforcing team will come for you. This is not the first time. And that is a comment on Twitter. Another comment on Twitter from JKOFM says that we don't need notice only. We, the public, are interested in the final result after your investigation. That is what matters, and I totally agree. What goes beyond the interdiction. So more comment on Twitter. There has been issues of people getting their cars snatched at Labadi, Techi, Abokobi, and Kaswa. But you all don't post that. Christmas might get worse. That is someone also issuing her concerns there. Ibi Things on Twitter says, it won't go anywhere. My engagement with the police had let me become aware of reality. Don't care who comes in, my brother. It won't go anywhere. The Ghana police is never your friend. They don't have a bit of integrity. It is a corrupt institution. Well, that is a social media user establishing this content there. Kwame Ato says that I struggle to understand why the IGP is personally reaching out to the victim. This is the job of a politician. We are 30 million plus Ghanaians, and a lot of us have been victims of police brutality. I don't think the IGP reaches out to every victim. I feel this PR is becoming nauseating. Well, those are your comments on social media on the particular video of police brutality. But this is still Newsroom on GHOne television. Let's hop on to election. Welcome back. This is still Newsroom here on GHOne Television. To some election-related stories. Now, the NDC's presidential running mate, Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajiman, has urged residents of Yendi and Kushegu to vote for the NDC candidates in the area to improve representation in Parliament. Adding that, a Mahama-led administration is committed to creating jobs for unemployed youth and addressing underdevelopment in communities across northern Ghana. She made these remarks during her two-day campaign tour of the northern region.
Supporters of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, welcomed the party's presidential running mate during her campaign tour of the Yendi, Mion, Gushegu, and Tamale constituency. Throughout her visit, the running mate engaged with local chiefs, opinion leaders, and party members to discuss the various policies of the NDC government designed to support youth and women in the area. While addressing the mini rally, Professor Jane urged party supporters to disseminate the positive initiatives proposed by the NDC flag bearer, emphasizing that these initiatives will be honored if the NDC is elected.
We also vote for a leader who will be sincere with us. If there is doom, so the leader will admit and say, I will fix it. And he will work hard to fix it. We don't want a leader who tells us, oh, there's no doom, so, and gives us a different name, as if we cannot even tell when the lights are off. You see the level of respect. Is that the party we should vote for? We need a leader who keeps his word. If he's not able to do it, he explains why. At the very least, we all see that he's trying to do it. That is the leader we want. We need a leader we can trust.
At Katenga, in Gushegu district, former NDC chairman Samuel Ofosu Ampofo stated that the NDC will increase the MP Common Fund from 5% to 7%.
At a point in time, the NDC realized that the Common Fund was accelerating rural development, and so jack up the Common Fund percentage from 5% to 7.5%, and that brought a lot more resources into the police assemblies. Under the MPP, they have reversed the situation again, and they have brought the 7.5% to 5%. NDC is assuring Ghanaians that when you vote for John Dramani Mahama and Professor Jane Nana we are going to increase the Common Fund allocation again by increasing the percentage to 7.5%, so that more resources can come to the rural areas to address challenges that are faced by our women and our children and the youth.
Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajiman also met with the Volta Diaspora Caucus and Ewe Group in the northern region, where she highlighted the party's achievement in various constituencies before the NDC lost power in 2016.
Well, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will, in the next few hours, commission a watermelon factory in his hometown of Wale Wale in the northeast region as he takes his campaign to that area. Dr. Bawumia, who is the flag bearer of the governing NPP for the December elections, will also cut sort for the construction of an AstroTurf park at Limbisi and later address a rally in Wale Wale before heading to Salaga North constituency. My colleague Musa Lansa is with the Vice President now, and he joins me on phone to bring us up to date on the campaign. Musa, many thanks for joining us. What is the latest on this campaign trail?
Well, from yesterday, the Vice President began what we call the mop-up of the northern and the northeast regions, where he met with various groups in 3 constituencies yesterday in the northern region. He was in the Kumbuhungu, Trolong, and then the Tamale South constituencies. This morning, he is in the northeast region, where he has already cut a sword for the construction of the AstroTurf at Limbisi in the northeast region. He is on his way to Wale Wale now to cut sword for the construction, to officially commission the Wale Wale watermelon processing factory. This factory has been in the pipeline for a very long time now, and people were questioning when the factory will be commissioned. So today, the Vice President, who is also the flag bearer of the governing NPP, will in the next few minutes be here to commission the watermelon factory. From there, he will go back to the Walwali Township, where he will be addressing a community connect of party supporters. Already the town is charged with supporters moving around and singing and also showing their support for the Vice President in his own hometown. From here, he will be moving to the Salaga North constituency, where he will be having an engagement with the Fulani community in that constituency before retiring to the Tamale Central constituency, and then wrap it up for the day. Then tomorrow he continues with other constituencies before addressing a mammoth rally on Sunday in the northern regional capital, Tamale.
Right. Thank you so much, Musa Lansa, for bringing us up to speed on the Vice President's campaign trail in Wali there. Away from that, an Associate Professor of Statistics and Director of Research and Innovation at the Kumasi Technical University, Professor Smart Sapon, is predicting a runoff in the upcoming December 7 polls. A number of polls have earlier predicted a first-round victory for the opposition NDC owing to the country's economic crisis, among other issues. But announcing findings from his endline report of the 276 constituency, Professor Smart Sapon says, although the NDC leads in 9 constituencies, with the NPP leading in the remaining 7, both parties will be unable to make the 50% plus 1 mark, with the NPP's Dr. Bawumia leading with 49.1%, the former President Mahama trailing with 45.8%.
At the close of the regional level analysis, we had 7 regions showing lead for NPP and then 9 regions showing lead for NDC. The 7 regions that showed lead for NPP are the Bono region, Ahafo region, Western region, Central region, Eastern region, Ashanti region, and the Northeast region. The 4 lead aspirants out of the 13 presidential aspirants are Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, 49.1% lead. Former President John Dramani Mahama, 45.8% next to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Then the third is Kwame Bediako, 2.2. And then we have John Alan Chematin, 1.2. All the remaining 9 aspirants together are doing 1.7%.
But in a bold rebuttal to the recent poll forecasting a runoff in the 2024 presidential elections, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, a Deputy Director of IT and Elections for the opposition NDC, dismissed the findings, describing it as a mere chopper analysis. Dr. Tanko Computer, during an interview on GHOne TV, called the result as speculative and accused the method of analysis of being fundamentally flawed.
I said, this man, he's not smart too. You see, I've been laughing. When we were talking, I was just laughing through my head. He's just not smart. I think he better change his name. You know what?
Tell me.
When we went into the 2020, he was saying that NPP had 128 safe seats. Where was he? The NPP had to use state apparatus to snatch 5 seats from NDC through gun, through killing of people, in order to get those 5 seats. There was no one near the 137. They were not even close to 137. You know what happened at Techima South. So if you will also, Tanko and Swayem, Zabzugu, you know what happened there, how the results were declared in those constituencies. This gentleman is not smart. He's not smart. With this chop bar analysis that he has brought up publicly, I should give credence to it. This is just a chop bar analysis. What is he talking about? He's saying 128, and I'm saying that where was he in 2020 when the MPP had to struggle to use guns, state apparatus to get 5 more seats in order to bring them to 137? That's why I'm saying he's not smart. The NDC came down from 106 to to 137 in 2020. That's why I'm saying this man is not smart. He's not a researcher. I strongly doubt it. If he's going to do research, he should go back and look at 2020. The NDC came down from 106 seats to 142, and then they took 5 away from it through the machination of state apparatus. So this shows that his analysis is not smart. It's going to be a one-touch victory. Your mama is going to get 54%. He should look. The man was speaking to his MPP supporters. He's an MPP man. This is not his first time he's been doing such things. We unmasked him. We unmasked him last 2 years. He did similar things. We unmasked him.
Well, the Deputy Communications Director at NPP Flag Bearers Campaign says the National Democratic Congress is only rejecting the polls by Professor Smart because it projects NPP as the lead.
He's saying that Professor Smart is not smart, but at the same time he's declaring that John Mahama will win the election by 54%. I was expecting you to refer him to the data post-rolling. All right? Post-rolling. Post-rolling, there has been no election that the NDC has gotten 53%. There has been no such election. So what makes him think that John Mahama is going to get 54% in 2024? Even if we are to disregard the opinion poll, and then stick to election history and data. I'm saying to you that post-rolling, the NDC has not won any election in this country with even 52%. All right?
Okay.
And so on what basis is he declaring that, they're going to get 54%? That's why I said that his analysis is misguided. It is not supported by history. It is not supported by data. Indeed, between him and Smart, all right, Professor Smart has provided basis for his conclusion. What is the basis for the conclusion that computer reached?
We hit the street to find out what you had to say about a possible runoff and whether opinion polls will shape the decision of voters in the upcoming elections.
If I decide to vote for somebody, but then the polls on another person is much more than the other person I want to vote for, I think it would influence my decision because many of the people are going to this side. So if the one I want to vote for has lesser votes, what is it telling me?
For me, I have a decision already. That's what I've already told you, that Mama is going to win.
And so the polls didn't influence you?
No. For their prediction, they predicted because they themselves are doing their own prediction. And for prediction, it's human being that did it. So I'm my own personality of human being. So I think for the prediction, Mama is going to win for me.
Their predictions, I think it's not going to work because somebody cannot sit at home and predict for us. You see, to me, Mama is going to win.
And so the predictions doesn't shape anything.
It doesn't shape anything. It doesn't shape anything.
That one, that's their prediction. That one is online listing, so we can't. That one cannot influence us. Yeah, I still stand by Nana Baumia. I'll vote for Baumia. I'll vote for Baumia. I'll not vote for Mahama or I'll vote for Baumia. Baumia is on the way going.
No, it doesn't change my opinion. Why? Because I've already made my mind, so that one cannot change anything.
It's been an active week for President Akufo-Addo and his administration, from inaugurating flyovers to unveiling the central bank's $200 million headquarters, alongside the launch of over 80 educational infrastructure projects. The government infrastructure agenda is clearly in full swing. However, this trend isn't unique to the Akufo-Addo administration, as previous governments have used similar tactics. Remember 2016 when John Mahama earned the diminutive Commissioner General? But the real question is, why now? Why do government tend to accelerate their effort to showcase accomplishments just before elections? Eli Klimawuku has more on this report.
In June 2016, just 5 months before the elections, former President John Dramani Mahama earned a new nickname for his tendency to rush the inauguration of various projects, some of which were even incomplete. Already known as Mr. Dumso, due to the country's power outages during his tenure, Mr. Mahama seemed to embrace this new moniker. He even joked that he welcomed the name because he had been on a roll. This new title, Commissioner General. It wasn't surprising, really. Just days before the end of his presidency, Mr. Mahama inaugurated the University of Ghana Medical Center. The facility, however, didn't become operational until July 2018.
The University of Ghana Medical Center project reflects another major milestone by our country in our quest for quality health service delivery and making it available to our people.
Shall I paint you a picture? In the lead up to the 2016 elections, Mr. Mahama was particularly busy commissioning projects. In May 2016, he opened the Cape Coast Sports Stadium. In July, he inaugurated a water project in Parigu, Narelugu, aimed at supplying potable water to the community. Then, in October 2016, he launched a water project in Pando in the Volta region to improve access to clean water in the area.
It can provide Pando and all the communities that I mentioned, Sovie, Amfuega, Nkonya, Nkru, and surrounding communities, and also to benefit from the project I have Vemek, Befi, Jigbe, and Pasek villages.
Later the same month, Mr. Mahama unveiled the Trust Sports Emporium in Bukum, and the Sekendi Takrade Kojokrom railway line was also commissioned in November 2016. On 2nd December 2016, just 5 days before the elections, Mr. Mahama traveled to Kumewu to commission the incomplete Kumewu water project. It was a flurry of activity in the final months of his presidency, with a number of these projects still unfinished or not yet operational. But the commissioning continued nonetheless. Finally, on December 4th, 2016, President John Dramani Mahama officially inaugurated the unfinished aerodrome project in Ho, the capital of the Volta region. This move was met with disapproval from the New Patriotic Party and its presidential candidate at the time, Nana Akufo-Addo, who promised not to repeat such actions if elected. Fast forward to his election and subsequently to his re-election campaign in 2020, where President Akufo-Addo found himself using a similar strategy. Now, in 2024, President Akufo-Addo and the NPP government are in full swing, rapidly commissioning and inaugurating infrastructure projects. From the rushed sword curtain ceremony at the Flower Pot interchange to the grand opening of the Central Bank's $250 million ultra-modern building, a project that was initially budgeted at $81.8 million, the government's infrastructure agenda is in overdrive.
Not only celebrating the physical structure of this imposing complex, but also acknowledging the progress of our economy.
To put this in perspective, let's rewind to the 2020 election cycle. In August 2020, President Akufo-Addo launched the Nkumfi Fruits and Juices Factory, part of his administration's One District, One Factory initiative. The following month, he commissioned 5 new piped water supply systems under the Water Supply Improvement Project. In October, he opened the 5.1 million Ghana cedis Hamile Hapa small town piped water supply system and a 6.5 megawatt solar power plant in Laura. Even as the election loomed in December, just 6 days before voters went to the polls, President Akufo-Addo inaugurated the Bodukwan Multi-Fruit Processing Factory, another initiative under his 1D1F initiative. Notice the pattern. With just 2 weeks left to his term, President Akufo-Addo is not seeking a third. However, he has expressed his intention to hand over power to his vice president, who is the NPP's chosen presidential candidate. This week alone, the president didn't just visit Flowerport Flyover. He also took time to commission a $1.2 billion bridge power project in Tema. And that's not all. His administration also unveiled over 80 educational infrastructure projects across all 16 regions. It seems the rush to inaugurate and commission projects is far from over. So what did we learn from this? A few things, actually. That governments will continue to use infrastructure projects as tools for political gain, particularly in the lead up to elections. That the recurring pattern of commissioning projects close to election time suggests that infrastructure development can be used strategically to sway voters, especially in the final stretch of a president's term. And finally, what is the level of accountability and transparency in the handling of public projects?
The question remains, why now? Well, that is the question we want to find answers to. And to help us understand this is a political marketer, Dr. Kobby Mena, who was joined us on phone to have this conversation. Many thanks for joining us, sir. We want to find out, we are seeing a lot of inauguration and commissioning of various projects with just few days to the elections. You are a political marketer and a strategist. Why do you think government tend to accelerate their effort to showcase accomplishment just before elections? Why do you think so?
Right. Okay, thanks for having me. I think that the basic point is that the political parties do not know the concept of marketing. They don't know the concept of value proposition. Now, usually as a company, you do not market what we call features, but you market benefits, you market values that people gain from your product. Now, over the period, we've seen political parties do that on a simple basis. They think that the proverbial Ghanaian short memory is at play. So they always want to push their deliveries at the end of the term so that they can use that to bargain for votes. They believe people would forget that they've done A, B, C, D during the term, and as a result may not count in terms of the voters' consideration. And so they would rather want to push it to the end so that they can showcase delivery. Obviously, a misconception to how the voter thinks. The voter want to see that they've gained value from whatever, infrastructure, from whatever development that you have actually put in place. Now, if you do that at the tail end of your term, you don't get to experience the value, and so it doesn't mean anything to the voter. In fact, it is on record that by the term you are going into the elections, people have made up their mind already. If you had delivered earlier, they would have benefited from the project, they would have seen the value, they would have appreciated it, and would have worked or calculated to their decision making. But unfortunately, our political parties still keep to the old ways of doing things that make them lose elections, and they won't change.
You just in your submission, the last part of it, I was coming to ask you whether this, to some extent, influenced voter decision in any way, but you've clarified that, and you are also attributing this late showcasing of accomplishment to bad strategies. Is that what it is?
Absolutely. They always think that voters have short memory, and as a result, they want to push it to the end of their term, hoping that voters would imagining it, they would immediately recall and make their decisions on that. Unfortunately, and voters have actually experienced bad governance, experienced bad leadership. They have actually gone through a very undignified way of life. They would not forgive you, even if you give them gold at the tail end of it. That you should know that if someone's health deteriorates throughout your term, and at the end of your term you put up a hospital, it is of no use to this person. If somebody experiences undignified life, their kids have been sacked from school several times, the kids can't go to a very good school, they themselves can have good, welfare, etc. It does not matter what you do at the tail end of it. You have made them go through undignified life. As a result, whatever you do at the tail end would not count in their decision making towards voting for you.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Kobby Mena. He is a political marketer and a strategist. Let's do some business stories now. As the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research and the West and Central African Council for Agricultural Research and Development are urging African nations to prioritize research and innovation in agricultural transformation. This was the central theme of the three-day symposium on agriculture and environmental sustainability. The pathway transforming agri-food systems in West and Central Africa aimed at fostering collaboration and actionable synergy among stakeholders.
In a bid to drive sustainable agricultural practices, ensure food security, improve livelihoods and enhance environmental sustainability in sub-Saharan Africa, CSIR and CORAF convened a symposium to promote innovation and research in the region. CORAF's Executive Director, Dr. Mumuni Savadogo, explained that the conference provided a platform for stakeholders to discuss strategies to promote sustainable agricultural practices, strengthen climate resilience, and advance innovation and technology.
We are looking forward to see what is the state of the art in terms of research, in terms of innovation, which can help us draw lessons, but also promote science-based solutions that can help for us to have resilient agriculture, sustainable agriculture. Scientists are just opening up an avenue for all end users to take up the technologies and make sure that we forget about food insecurity in our sub-region.
The Chief Director of the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Patrick Nomu, emphasized that stakeholders should implement existing innovative research to enable farmers to adopt sustainable farming practices.
Innovative ways of implementing research findings that we already have in a way that ensures that our farmers, who are the people who are on the ground, who are putting a lot of their efforts into producing the food that we need for our livelihood, I mean, to find better ways of farming to ensure that they not only get enough yield from their farms, but also do it in a way that is sustainable, so that we begin to get the understanding that we don't live for ourselves and for today alone, but whatever we are doing, whether it is farming and whatever aspect of farming, we are doing it in a very sustainable way.
The Director General of CSIR, Professor Paul Bosu, highlighted the importance of farmers embracing new technologies developed by researchers to enhance farming resilience.
It's for our farmers to adopt these technologies and use them. If all the technologies are there, are developed, and farmers don't have the desire to use them, but prefer to use their old methodologies and old techniques, then we would not be achieving much.
Thanks for joining me here on Sports Brief. I am Monica Bukari. Now, it's been barely 6 months since the Ghana amputee football team, the Black Challenge, returned to Ghana after their historic victory at the AFCON 2024 in Egypt. However, despite their remarkable achievements, the team is yet to receive any per diem or winning bonuses promised by the Ministry of Sports. Now, in an interview with GHOne Sports here on The Game, head coach Stephen Richard Obeng revealed that the team's repeated inquiries have been met with the same response, and that is, there is no money. The delay in honoring these commitments has raised concerns about the treatment of the Black Challenge, whose success brought pride to the nation.
Yes, those accounts have been read to the ministry through the National Paralympic Committee, Mr. Samson Dean and his board members. Okay. They have notified us, yes, they have sent the account to the ministry, and the ministry said he was going to reward us $2,000 for the winning bonus for the African Power Games in 2023 and the winning bonus for the World Cup qualifiers and AFCON. So we were like, if that money, that 4,000 you're talking about, if they can do something about it, because looking at it, the players pay for their own ticket to come and to go. And when they came, because things were delaying, you know, they pay for Airbnb. Okay. Because they were
when you were in Accra waiting to hear from the minister.
So they paid for 1 month and they paid over 7,000 each player that was called. And I think when we were waiting for our monies, they have to pay extra to make sure they receive the money. And they didn't get those monies. They have to return on a loan ticket that hoping this money comes and they pay. Okay. And after sending those documents, we have been waiting, and days passes by, weeks passes by, months passes by, and there's no sign of assurance of we receiving any money from the Ministry of Youth and Sports.
In the English Premier League, Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola signed a new 2-year contract extension on Thursday, extending his club tenure to over a decade. Guardiola has won a remarkable 18 trophies, including a historic treble of the Premier League, Champions League, and the FA Cup in 2023 during his tenure, overseeing the club's transition from wealthy challenger to parts of soccer's elite. The 53-year-old sounds just as driven for success as he was when he signed for City in 2016.
I felt I could not live now. The reason it was the reason why I felt that now I cannot live. And yeah, I felt the club still, you know, want me or had the fact that they were together, and that's why we signed. We won a lot. Otherwise, you know, stay 11 years. Not even here in a place like I feel love. Here's a business, and you have to win and have a contract, but I know if we don't win, maybe I will not continue. So I know exactly that doesn't mean as a paper that even we don't need it. It's just the feeling that the moment now will feel is done. The club will know it, and that moment didn't feel it. The club, Chiki first, and of course our chairman Khaldoon and Farhan didn't feel it, and that's why I extend to be here to try to continue to do it well.
Now do join us for more sports here on GHOne at 1 p.m. and on Star FM as well. My name is Monica Bukari. Back to you, Awisi, Dede, Djangay.
Thank you so much, Monica, for bringing us sports stories. And that brings us to the end of Newsroom here on GHOne Television with me, Awisi, Dede, Djangay. Have a wonderful afternoon.